Were you, or were you not, on a gay cruise?
No, you're 120% dick pic.
Everybody that age, they're sperminator.
Yeah.
Because we don't care about anything else. We're walking hard on looking for a hole.
That's. I have to say you're right on that one. Oh, my God.
A stiff breeze comes through the room and you return the favor.
Got her in. Oh. Somewhere on the outside of this building, there is a hole where squirrels come in.
Better than a hole where dicks come in.
Yeah, better than that.
Going down the stairs to wash the laundry. What the hell? Shh. Pizza. Stop! Stop it now! I order you to stop! I'm still touching myself.
Yeah!
All young bitches want to do is pop pills, smoke weed, get drunk, lay around, suck dick, eat hot Cheetos, charge they phone, get a sew and weave, twerk, be bisexual, eat McDonald's, wash they pussy in the sink, lie, take selfies, and talk shit through Wi-Fi because they phone never on.
I think washing they pussy in the sink is my favorite part. The Vietnamese trade in dongs. Figuratively and literally, I'm sure.
Oh, my God, that's hilarious.
I did decide to look it up. 500,000 dongs is a good night for Pop's ex.
Like most women, he's an emotional thinker.
Good God.
I mean, that's part of the problem we're having now in our society is we have a bunch of emotional thinkers that want the world to, to fall in line with their emotions. That's not... look, reality doesn't give a shit about emotions.
It's my lived truth. Fuck your lived truth.
No, it's not. It's your perspective.
Kiss my ass.
Literally like, hey, Sergeant Pop, you got to turn your bear suit. I'm like, over my dead body. No. Just give me a statement of charges. Yeah. You're never getting this back. Yeah. You can suck it.
I'm going to wear this with my Russian coat.
you will bury me in this. Hey! Why you gotta fucking be like that, man?
Because I'm an asshole, and I learned from the best. I'm sitting across from him, and I'm pointing at you with all four fingers.
All right, first of all, the Russian jacket is World War II surplus.
I'll send you a picture of it, Sarge.
Yeah, okay. I
got you standing wearing it with holding two giant buckets like you just collected all the chum from behind the dump dumpster at the bar, and you're going to go home and make ice cream out of it.
What's up, savages? Terrence Pop here with another episode that actually is live from the Lair. And today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, which is war. I have studied war pretty much since I was 11, 12 years old. And I've started off at the very bottom, worked my way up to almost near the top highest ranks in the listed world, and seen 3 wars come and go, and I was almost killed in 2. Now we have the Doge department digging in everyone's shit, and everyone is becoming unglued, and rightfully so. I believe the Pentagon hasn't passed an audit for the past 7 times they've done that, which is roughly 21 years. I believe they're scheduled to get audited once every 36 months, and they haven't passed in over 2 decades. Why people are still working and having their ranks and whatever is beyond me. But we're talking, trillions of dollars, being just thrown off into the ether for God knows what. And I think our biggest expenditure is our defense budget. And I'm just curious how much of that budget is actually getting kicked back and siphoned off the top and not actually buying the hardware and the equipment and the weapons and ammunition that we actually need. Especially after the dictator in chief, old Biden himself, was handing out our war stocks to go over to Ukraine, to the point where we are now jumping through hoops and, doing all kinds of crazy shit just to get our 155 rounds replenished and various other ordinances that were just given away. And on top of that, we left behind so much equipment in Afghanistan. We literally turned the Taliban into basically one of the top 10 largest armies in the world. Why
They'll
that was
never maintain it for less than a month. Leave it alone.
Why that was allowed to happen, I have no idea. And you're correct. They won't be able to maintain it. But they could sell it to somebody who can.
Yep.
And it's very dangerous. Now, we got Battle Dwarf in the house today.
Indeed you do.
And the temperature outside is somewhere between 0 and -5 degrees. So we decided, for safety's sake, to have him remote in.
We declared the roads black. I'll show you the secret lair. I have a picture of it here behind me. This is
Well, it works.
That's my secret fortress of solitude. There's a whole bunch of shit going on, man. I mean, with the military stuff. So tonight we're going to go through some of the stupid stuff that's going on. Then I'm going to walk you through what's called Title 50, which is where all of the war stuff lives in United States law. So if you ever get particularly irked by something, you can actually go look up the laws surrounding it and maybe ring a senator's bell with a letter or two and say, hey, why are you violating these here laws that you people actually created?
Yep.
Give him a little fun. I'd like to start the story out the story out with a funny night, though, if you don't mind. It's a short one. My daughter is a college student, as she texts me that she's really mad that Orange Man Bad is going to change Greenland to red, white, and blue land, and apparently there is an actual bill before the Senate. And I said, it's a joke. Those are templates, and it takes 2 seconds to make a bill like that. And she proceeded to get angry, and I proceeded to explain to her that it is normal for us to fuck with people. You just don't hear about it on the news. I, for example, put paper spurs on a 4-star general during an exercise once in 2001. And that upset her greatly. And I got some insight into the young college mind, because she says, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should, and they should be acting more professionally. Like, you have no idea.
Well, I personally don't have a problem taking over Greenland.
That's fine. Yeah, but I'm talking about the dicking around. Like, nobody in the government ever fucks around. I mean, we do layouts, like battalion layouts, and have the old man walk through, and you get all your shit on pallets and everything, and you spent all day polishing the vehicle, and he goes by, and there's like a dildo and a rubber ducky on one of the pallets. What are those
and
for?
Nobody notices.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes on all the time. There's no level to that stuff.
No. We had a guy leave, purposely put his Steve Austin lunchbox.
Yes. God,
Nobody
yes.
noticed.
God, yeah. Nobody noticed the Steve Austin lunchbox.
No. He actually had the thermos open and the cup on the side, so you could like it.
Laid out. Oh,
he laid it out.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a Steve Austin metal lunchbox.
Yeah, that's exactly the stuff that I'm talking about. This stuff goes on all the time. Naming Greenland red, white, and blue land is like mild. That's tepid compared to the shit that we used to do, guys.
Well, remember when you used to do the manuals for the military, and every now and again you'd drop in like, key phrases or words that shouldn't be there, and they would totally not even get detected.
There may or may not be an out-of-date copy for the Mark 19 description of the 40 millimeter high explosive round, where it says in encrypted Morse North Korean, one shot of whiskey in the manual. That might be something that has happened in the past.
No. And listen, as a grunt, you have to appreciate that kind of humor.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely necessary, especially when you're doing a bunch of mind-numbing, stupid shit.
Yes.
You're just like, oh God, here we go. Somebody's got to do a joke or something. This is just insane. And somebody does. And you're like, all right.
Makes everything better. It's like having some pricky seven standing at the back of the room going, somebody's gonna die.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Stuff. So along with screwing with 4-star officers, let's talk about that for a second, shall we? Why does the Army now have the most 4-star generals on duty since World War II? The Army now has more 4-star generals on active duty than the Army and Air Force combined had during World War II. Okay, let's put this in perspective for our friendly audience out there. We're talking about the Army NCOs, or Army 4-stars in particular. Every division will have a 2-star general in charge. Right. And there are 3 to 5 divisions in an Army element. For example, I worked at the G5 for 8th Army, which was the Pacific Theater Army element. And we had a 4-star general. We had a bunch of them. The only one that I really interacted with at all was General Schwartz when I dressed his boots for him. But there should be, I think we only have 16 divisions in the Army total, and that includes the reserve.
Yeah, I know. I'm curious, how many divisions did we have in World War II?
Oh God, like 30.
Yeah, I think it's like 38.
Yeah, it was a lot. At any rate, only at the Army level do you have a 4-star general. And only in wartime, when you've got an overall commanding general like a Patton or a MacArthur, do you have a 5-star general. Only in wartime specifically do you have a 5-star general. An Army general commands several divisions, 3 to 5 divisions. So if we only have 16 divisions out there, along with the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who is always a 4-star, and I could imagine 1 or 2 more 4-stars at the Pentagon for various reasons because politics.
What fuckery?
We shouldn't have more than
8.
10 tops. We shouldn't have more than 10 tops.
There's what, 21, 22 sitting up there?
Well, let me bring that screen back up real quick. Last time we had rank density was April 1945 when we had 4 5-stars and 13 4-stars. Okay. It's a big war. I get this. I don't know why they had 4 5-stars. Theater generals. It had to have been theater generals. Cogliani's pointed out, adding time in the Air Force was known as the U.S. Army Air Force. Yes, it was. In addition to Army Chief of Staff and Army Vice Chief of Staff, the Army has 5 4-stars running Army Forces Command, Army TRADOC, You don't need a 4-star for TRADOC. What the hell is that crap? Army Material Command, Futures Command, and Pacific Command. That's the 4-star general that I worked for, was PACOM. That was General Schwartz at the time. Currently, the Army holds 10 4-star positions in the joint world, starting with General Mark Milley, who is a useless POS. 3 of these newly confirmed joint positions as of June 30th, there were 14 4-stars in the Army alone, according to Defense Department figures. But General Gus Perna, who is the commander of Material Command, made 15. It's just ridiculous. You don't need this many of these guys. They have specific purposes. And like I said, I could get behind, okay, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, he's got to have some clout because the other guys who are commanding armies who are 4-stars, they need to respect this guy. All right. I'll buy into that. But TRADOC is, for those of you out there who don't know, that's Training and Doctrine Command. That's the schoolhouse kiddies.
You should not.
You don't need a 4-star.
4-star
2-star can run that.
A 1-star can run that.
I mean, that's fair, but I mean, you got to have a certain level of rank in places like that, or nobody will respect them. It's the senior officer BS. You know what I'm talking about.
What I saw taking place at TRADOC before I got out of the service, they're fucked anyway. Fuck those guys.
Yeah, it's a bunch of clowns. It was good when I went through in the early 90s, and then as the 2000s came upon us, you could see the pipeliners were steadily worse and worse. They couldn't pass a PT test. They didn't know their basic skills. None of them went to CWEOC, which is where we learned to work all of our fancy whiz-bang gadgets and antenna theory. And it was just like, what the fuck you doing?
It's more like antenna art.
It's hey man, I can make a 50-meter antenna.
No, I'm saying if you want it to work, it's an art. You can know all the theory you want.
No, it's not. It is straight up fucking caveman witch doctor shit.
Yeah, okay.
You need like a chicken bone and a piece of string and a little duct tape, some bubble gum.
Yep.
To make that shit work.
It's fucking nuts, man.
Especially, did you ever skip signals?
Oh yeah.
What, like off the ionosphere?
Yeah, with 104s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that kind of stuff, man. It's got to be, everything has to be exactly right, and you can't fart while you're doing it, or it screws up the signal.
It'll fuck it up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But my thing is this. All right. First of all, everyone here on the show knows how I feel about officers. I have, in my 33 years, I've probably interacted with a couple of dozen generals, from 1-star all the way up to like 3-star. Never messed with any 4-star guys. And they are some of the most sleazy, backstabbing, ass-kissing, throat-cutting sons of bitches. Out of all of those generals I've ever interacted with, 2 of them were good. Meaning, when they told you something, they'd keep their fucking word. You know, good or bad. Like if you're fucking up and like, hey man, I'm gonna crush your nuts, they'll crush your nuts. Or if like you'll get this. If you do all right, we're gonna take care of you. And they actually did it. The rest of these guys, they're just ticket punchers like all the other useless officers I've ever run across in the military. They'll just crush whoever's around them so they can get that next OAR and that next promotion, and they don't give a shit about the men underneath them at all.
That's absolutely correct. I knew 3 decent officers the entire time that I was in. The rest of them were all freaking dirt. I knew a bunch of good warrants. I knew a bunch of good warrant officers.
Yeah, but they don't count.
They're sort of a mythical creature. They're like fucking unicorns anyway.
Well, first of all, they're stocked up on disappearing ninja balls.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Okay. They speak ambiguity?
Ambiguity?
Giddity, which is
giggity. Ambiguity. Yeah.
They laugh at your expense,
mm-hmm.
and you don't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
And they like travel like ghosts between the enlisted and the officer ranks.
Yes. One of my favorite things in the world was watching the 4-star come into our skiff after an exercise to give us an attaboy for doing a good job running the show. It was a huge communications exercise. Our particular unit ran the core cell, the what's called white cell. And the 4-star came by, and we had one of the CW5s in the skiff with us. And of course, we all snapped to attention when the 4-star walks in. The CW5 standing there behind us with his hands in his pockets because he's got like 37 years in service and he might be leaving tomorrow, and he just doesn't give a fuck. And the 4-star didn't even blink
because they're invisible.
Yeah. Yes, and they also know everybody. So if you touch one of them, what they do is call everyone that's anywhere near anywhere you might go, and your life sucks for eternity. They were masters at that. I learned that real fast with anything above like CW3. They knew everyone. So if you dared to fuck with them, it would be like in the movie. What was the movie with Denzel Washington with the demon that jumps from body to body?
Oh yeah.
And he has to kill himself out in the woods.
I don't know the name of the movie, but
you know what I'm talking about. The demon could jump bodies, right?
Yeah.
CW3 warrant officers can do that.
They
jump
phone.
bodies. You'll be talking to him, and they're like, you'll go to another office, and he'll turn around and look at you and go, we really need to talk about that. You go down the hall, and another guy's like, seriously though, we need to. And you're like, oh! It's really creepy.
So why don't we put up the pay table so we know what we're paying these useless fuckballs?
Yes, let's do that. Let's share that tab instead. And useless fuckballs. Let's back it off a little bit and get it into. Is that readable? Can you read that?
To an extent.
To an extent, it goes up to 20.
It's an O10.
Who do we want to look at there? That we got ranks up to 20. That's enough.
So a 4-star is 09.
A 4-star is 09, and they're making $18,000 a month. Okay,
if
that's
they make
minimum of 20 years of service. Yeah,
you can get promoted that quickly when you're at war, but most of the time it's going to take you 24 years to get there.
By comparison, an E1 makes $2,000 a month. We made $620 a month when we went in.
I actually made less than that because I went in as an E1 nothing.
Oh, I went in as an E2. I got $620 a month. So yeah. Now they're making $2,000 a month.
Mm-hmm. And I came in while they used to show up with a gun and a box of money and pay you in cash.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, did it really?
The pay officer? Yeah, show up.
Really? You had a pay officer?
It was like an E7.
Wow. We were just past that. We had just gone to direct deposit, and you had to do direct deposit. They fucked up my first two all the way through basic, and my first 3 weeks of AIT, I had no money.
Yep. Like they'd call us down while I was in basic at the end of the month. Then they'd line us up by rank. And you'd walk up to the table, and you had a 45 on there, and you'd get out of my face. Sign here, get out of my face.
Nice.
It's like, I'm 17. I'm like, I've got all this cash.
Yeah. That was a lot of money then, though. It was a reasonable amount of money then.
Yeah. Well, especially when, I grew up poor. I had any money that I had, it took me forever to save up.
Yeah.
But they're getting 8. Go up to 09 over 24 years is more realistic.
09 over 24 years. Let's go over there. So that is the second from the top row there.
So they're making about 18.4, 18.5.
Do the math in your head real quick. That's $200,000, $300,000, $240,000 a year.
Correct. And that's just base pay. That doesn't cover the BAH.
And all their other perks.
Get some professional pays in there as well.
Yep. We got professional pays. I maxed out on 3 flip pays for languages. I had jump status for a total of 6 months. Got danger pay for the Z when we were up there. For the year that we were up there. We got, I think it was $45 a month danger pay. That's what your life was worth.
Yeah. But we're paying these guys almost 20 G's a month. And I would say probably 1/3 of them, they don't need them.
Yeah.
Maybe half of them.
Yep.
In all reality, in a non-wartime scenario, you only need 8 4-star generals, tops.
So and we need your math head there. Somebody made $450 a month in 1975 as an E1. Yeah. And he points out that inflation is a big red flag too for that kind of money. Yeah, he's not wrong. So let's say World War II. How many divisions did the United States Army have in World War II? Let's look that up real quick.
All right. And you need to have 3 divisions for an army or a corps. I'm trying to remember. I think it's 3 divisions for a corps, 2 to 3 divisions for a corps.
Oh, I forgot corps level. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you go to army. So an army's anywhere from
Yeah,
4 to 8 divisions for an army.
Dude.
Hey, you're still showing us the pay table.
I know. I just wanted to make sure I had the right thing first before I switched over. Share this tab.
All
there
right.
you go. If this is correct, we had 106 divisions in play.
Wow, I was
Now,
way
you
off.
wouldn't have all of those on the field at one time. You don't do that. That's not how it works. You rotate units in and out. There'd be guys in the back. There'd be guys training back stateside. There'd be guys.
During World War II, 80% of those divisions were called shake and bake divisions.
Yeah, they just cobbled them together, basically.
Yeah, they just threw a bunch of noobs together, ran you through basic. You're basically like a cohort, but you're actually part of a division.
The one good thing they did is with the infantry guys, once you were together in basic training, you were with those guys the whole time.
Yeah, it's called a cohort.
Yeah. That was a good thing. So you've got 1, 2, 5 airborne divisions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, that's a lot of armor.
Yep. 20 armor divisions.
No, we're missing a few there. 15, 17, 18, and 19. So 16 armor divisions is still a lot.
Okay. Then you got your calves.
2 calves, 2 full calves. The big black scar, baby, out of Texas. Their scouts are pretty reliable.
Yeah.
First Cav scouts are pretty reliable.
Then you have all the standard infantry divisions.
1st to the 25th. But so these are I missed the corps level. I don't know why I missed the corps level. That would be 3 to 5 divisions to a corps, and then I think 2 corps to an army.
At a minimum.
So
it's 6 to 8 divisions for an army.
Right.
Yep.
So army level is the 4 stars. You're still only talking a handful of 4 stars. Like 5 or 6 4 stars on the ground.
You're 100 divisions divided by 12. Yeah, 14, 15 4-star generals is about right. And the regular army is
that was
really
during a
small.
World War, though.
Yeah, but today's army is nowhere near that.
No, not even close. Not even close. So that's a lot of graft, and I know you got a lot of officers that camp. I knew a lot of captains and majors that should have been put out.
Yeah.
They should have been, we called it ration control point. They should have been ration control pointed, RCP'd out. And did you guys have that stuff? You had to have.
Yeah.
Officers who were just camped.
Well, officers who got passed up twice usually were shown the door.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some captains like just go berserk because they got passed over for the second time and they're done.
They can still go to, I think, 16, 20, depending on their command.
I don't know.
We had one guy at Civil Affairs. God, what was his name? I can't remember anymore. We had two captains, Captain Perriott and Captain Bailey. That was the other one. Bailey just couldn't make the cut to major. He had made too many enemies in the senior officer ranks. So our colonel, because he was actually a decent guy, managed to just kind of keep him under the carpet until he hit 20, so that he could get his retirement. Because he was a good guy. He was actually a decent guy. And that's why he didn't get promoted.
Yeah, most of the good officers either get out by the time they're a major, or they get forced out by that rank as well.
Yeah,
and you're really left with just the douchebags at the top, which I can't fucking stand.
Right? Yeah, Captain Bailey would not submit to the brass fellatio.
Nope.
Which, you know, I don't fucking blame him, man. It's crazy shit. And meanwhile, while all of that's going on, the Pentagon fails its 7th audit in a row, but CFO says progress is being made. I'm going to go with,
hang on.
Bullshit.
All right. A failure, last time I checked, is still a fucking failure, man. You mean you can't pass a fucking audit and you've had 21 fucking years to do so? Hell, I would even say you failed. You're supposed to get an audit before 9/11, and you were missing $1.5 trillion.
I think it was something like 7 trillion.
Yeah, like what the
It was
fuck?
a really big number. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a seriously large number. It's obvious what's going on. Anybody with any brains knows what's going on. These people are playing shuffle the funds. They'll cut huge chunks to the military industrial contractors like Northrop Grumman, Brown Root, Khaki, all of those guys. And some of it does go to Black Ops. I know everybody's out there going, Black Ops. There aren't as many Black Ops as you think there are. Those that are, the budgets are alarmingly low. And for some of the stuff that I did that was like precursor stuff for that activity, we often had to find our own shit to the point where we had to go downtown in a third world country and buy wire to make antennas.
Yep.
It's not the high budget stuff that you think. We had a couple of computers, you turn them on, it said Windows fucking NT on them.
Wow.
And that was in the 2000s.
Yeah, that's old.
Yeah, I know it was. I know it's so. All of these people who think all of this money is going to the Black Ops budget, sadly, it's not, and it might to go to the top tier 1 guys. We know they have cool shit, but I also know that a lot of like Green Beret and above, and the tier 1s, they buy their own shit for the most part because the stuff that they do get is sketch.
Well,
that's what I saw.
Well, I know that they had custom radio gear. And the main reason for that is usually one person is carrying all the comms.
I know.
And they call it the dead body because it literally weighs as much as like another human being.
Yes. Can weigh up to 100 pounds.
Yeah. And they have all kinds of crazy whiz-bang shit in there.
Yes. And we had a lot of stuff that was improvised when Palm Pilots first came out. Remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Palm Pilots. One of our guys right away figured out how to patch that into one of the PRDs, the direction finding systems and listening radio systems. And then he and another couple of the weirdos in the tech shop, it's called Third Shop, went in with some of those Palm Pilots and came back out with, they had basically reduced ANPRD 13 to a Palm Pilot.
You're talking the dumb dog?
and you could hook up the antennas to it and everything. You had one that looked like a UFO, and then one that had 4 dipoles.
Okay.
That's HFDF antenna. And they had taken the entire radio box that weighed 32 pounds or something like that and reduced it to the Palm Pilot.
Yep.
Before we went overseas.
It's fucking heavy.
Well, yeah. That's the reason the special ops community works. A lot of those guys, especially in the commo and that kind of stuff, is because they really do get good guys who really do know what they're doing. And they can fix anything with bubble gum and a rubber mallet and some 100-mile-an-hour tape.
Yep. I don't know.
But so meanwhile, that money is not going to those projects, is what I'm trying to say here in my very long-winded way tonight.
Well, we'll find out because they're going to get audited.
Yeah. It's going to contractors who give kickbacks to key senators. And then when those general officers who authorize those funds to the military contractors, when those guys retire, they get juicy slots at CACI and Northrop Grumman and Boeing and so on and so forth. It's a revolving door thing.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I know some of the guys.
I mean, I remember when I had to change from the BDUs to that new digital pattern.
Garbage. I heard those fell apart instantly.
Well, yeah. I had now typically if you're in the field for an extended period of time, your uniform will rot off your body.
Yes.
But it shouldn't rot off your body when you're working in garrison.
No.
Yeah.
No. Honestly, my opinion, one of the worst things they ever did was take away the black leather boots and iron uniforms. That was like ground zero, Mark 1, Mod 0 discipline for brand new troops.
Yep.
It was shitty and it sucked, but fuck you. Learn to polish a boot.
Iron.
Yeah, an iron.
Yeah.
Sorry, but it was the first steps in discipline. Most of these kids had never seen a boot or an iron before in their life. So it was a good first stage for actual discipline. In what would be a CFO's worst nightmare, the Department of Defense has failed its 7th audit in a row since its first in 2018. Since its first in 2018? First?
No.
What?
They've been failing audits since the late 90s.
While the consequences of audit failures have caused major issues for private businesses, the country's largest government agency, which has a 2024 budget of $824 billion,
wow,
has been given until 2028 to account for its spending. That is a long time to get people to forget everything and to shred paper, is what that is right there.
Correct.
In 2028, 3 years from now, all of the people who conducted that audit will be working at different jobs. All of the secretaries will have been changed out. All of the records will have been round filed somewhere or shredded and burned. And everybody will forget that it ever happened. This is what you're looking at, is how they drop stuff down the black hole. 9 received an unmodified opinion. 15 received disclaimers. 1 received a qualified opinion. 3 opinions remained pending. 28 reporting entities audited within the DoD. Of the 15 disclaimers, insufficient information about the accounts was the primary reason. The agency is walking a fine line under federal law, as the CFO Act of 1990 requires all federal agencies in the executive branch to prepare auditable financial statements and undergo audits. They don't care because you can't touch them.
Yet.
That's the way it's been for a very long time.
Yeah, listen. I mean, I've gone over this so many times. These general officers need to have their power reined in. They literally get away with murder.
Yes.
And you can't tell them no. They can ruin your career on a whim, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but if you want to have a volunteer army, you need to take away the power from these officers who run the army like it was still a drafty army.
I had my career ruined by a lieutenant colonel protecting his first sergeant buddy who was fucking my ex-wife.
Yep.
He ruined my career so that his buddy could get away with cheating on
his wife with your wife.
Cheating with a wife, yeah. While I was deployed. That's the kind of shit, and that's normal stuff, man. That goes on all the time. All the time.
Yep.
But we were talking about doing a show on that today, weren't we? Earlier today?
We were talking about it, yeah.
Yeah. We gotta put that one together.
Yeah, that's some nutty shit, man.
Makes me think, makes me get quiet and think. That's when you don't want to be around me. So the result was not a surprise, and I know on the surface it doesn't sound like we're making progress. However, that's not the case, said Michael McCord, the DoD comptroller and CFO. You're fired. I believe the department has turned a corner in its understanding of the challenges, and more importantly, in addressing those challenges, momentum is on our side. Translation: fuck you. We're not doing your fucking audit.
Well, they're gonna stall until everyone is out of office.
Yeah,
and then
rotate it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's exactly.
I'm serious when I say that's exactly what they do. They rotate everybody out of there, and by the time the next audit comes around, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, that guy's been gone for 2 years now. We don't know where he went." It's exactly how they do it. The DoD's fiscal performance is an outlier. Most federal agencies, excluding the DoD and the Department of Education, comply with the CFO Act and receive clean or qualified opinions in their audits. Critics argue that the DoD's vast and complex financial system contributes to these challenges. Still, a lack of accountability also raises concerns about the department's capacity to manage such a substantial portion of the federal budget. I will tell you this right now. In the last program that I was in, we were all handed $10,000 credit cards, and as long as the fucking bill got paid, they didn't bother us at all about them. They didn't bother us at all. We had one guy who went out and like bought himself a new stereo or something, and he got dinged for that. But otherwise, if you used it to go get fucking lunch and shit, as long as it got paid at the end of the fucking month, they didn't care.
I used to be the guy who audited all the travel cards, is what you're talking about.
Yep.
And there's no way I was going to send an expense report for a soldier up the chain, especially if he had expenses at the Shaker Club. Or
okay, we didn't do that because we were smarter than that. You do that shit with cash, okay?
Yeah, or at the casino.
Yeah,
I was having a steak dinner at a casino.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not setting that up. You're going to eat this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, because if I send it up, then I'm going to get yelled at, and then you're going to get yelled at.
Yeah. And ass chewings are exponential. If the colonel chews the captain's ass, then the captain comes down and chews Pop's ass. By the time it gets to that soldier, the level of ass chewing has to go up at least 1.5 degrees.
Yes.
For each level that it rolls back down the hill. So,
I can't tell how many times I get on the phone like, you're just going to eat that. I know it's $138, but you know.
Yeah, you eat it.
Steak dinner with all the fixings at a casino, fuck off. It's not happening. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. We got away with quite a bit of shit like that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But then we operated independently. We rarely wore uniforms, blah, blah, blah. And yeah. So there's a lot of those cards out there.
Yep.
It's a lot of that shit.
I was working as an S2, but I fell in on doing the travel card and the ATARs.
How were you doing S2 and that?
There's nobody there. Hey, Pop, you're doing this, you're doing that. So I'm like doing 4 people's jobs, and I'm a acting first sergeant for 3 companies. What could go wrong?
Additional duties.
Correct.
Yeah. I was the dental readiness NCO just because it was mandated that each unit had to have one.
Yeah.
So I just made everybody bring their sheet in and check it off. Go away.
It wasn't that difficult. I mean,
no, it's not. It really isn't. It really isn't. They tried to give me an AAM for that, and I just kind of fucking looked at them like, go away. That's stupid.
Yeah,
I don't want a dental readiness NCO AAM.
I just wonder what's going to do with all these generals.
I don't know. It's not our problem, though. They should just get rid of them. You know what? You are a 4-star, which means you have enough time. Retire, go fishing.
Oh, here's a story that is not really in the media, but
Yeah.
The word on the street is that a federal judge has stricken down all of these blanket pardons done by Biden.
Yes, I saw that as well.
Especially, the judge is like, you can't pardon people if they haven't actually been charged with anything.
That is correct, and that is the basis for it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly the basis for it. What are you pardoning? Are you admitting that they have committed heinous crimes? Is that what's going on here?
Hmm.
Because if so, well, then we need to try those crimes, and then you can pardon them. Oh, wait, you already tipped your hand, and your pardon doesn't count. So
if that is true, I would like to see Millie brought back onto active duty.
Yeah.
Court-martialed and reduced in rank to a minimum of captain.
I would go a step further, and there wouldn't be anything under that next step.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
Testing gravity with a hemp rope.
Extreme chiropractic measures.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Millie really earned that one, in my opinion. There are others, I'm sure, but Millie in particular earned that little dance, in my opinion. So, though the CFO Act does not require an unmodified opinion from an audit, the DoD, whose spending surpassed only by Social Security, there's more Social Security payments than military payments out there. That's one to think about. Failure to meet the 2020 deadline could have serious consequences, including intensified congressional oversight, reduced discretionary spending, or stricter budgetary controls or defense allocations, which translates in plain English for you out there who don't speak this garbage to a slap on the hand.
Well, I don't think Trump is going to put up with this.
I agree.
He's not going to be, you want me to wait till my term is over?
Yeah.
No, we're doing this shit now.
I agree. I hope our new SecDef does the same thing. I hope he steps up and starts stomping a hole in their asses.
Yeah, and he hasn't. The SecDef. It's a Hegseth is his name.
Hegseth, yes.
So his highest rank was a major, so he didn't go to war college yet, where they get their first brainwashing enema.
That's when you go to war college.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you go to war college, when you pick up major. There's 2 war colleges. There's the barracks at New Jersey at Fort Dix, I think it is, and the big one for staff officers like Stars and Eagles is at Alabama. There's 2 war colleges. It's like Enoch and Beanock for us.
Now, my former commanders, the 2 commanders that were actually really good, were doing war college as a captain, promotable.
There you go. Did he go to Dix?
I don't really recall how that all worked out. I mean,
Speaking
I'm
of Dix,
what's up? What's up, dude?
Try not to freeze my nuts off.
Oh, are you also experiencing the chilly and brisk winter?
It is a crisp 4 degrees out, and with the wind chill, let me check. I believe it says negative 27.
Oh, so
With
that's
about
that's what it's been here all day, pretty much. We got a high of 13 today.
I think our high was like 3.
Okay, you just said it was 4 though.
Well, that's what the negative 4. My bad.
-4. Okay, that's not terrible.
That's
not
2 feet up your balls are going 2 feet up your ass when it's that cold.
That's not quite go to ground. We hit -20 in Korea, way up in the mountains, in the Chorwan sector, and got the go to ground order, and you just dig in and
That's
pray
right.
that you don't freeze to death.
Yeah.
So we have some guys in the comments want to know what war college is.
Okay, so basically for NCOs like Pop and me, we'll go to what's called BNOC and ANOC, basic non-commissioned officer and advanced non-commissioned officer, where they teach us all the ins and outs of being good NCOs and senior NCOs. The War College is where the senior officers from promotable captains up learn actual battlefield tactics, learn how to handle major groups of maneuver units of various kinds, learn how to handle their other assets that are in the air or on the ground, their intelligence assets. Each division, for example, has a single battalion of intelligence, or at least that's the old model. I don't know what the new model is. They've got new special brigades. And then at the senior War College level, which I believe is colonels promotable and above, that's where you actually learn to maneuver whole elements like an entire division or an entire corps and so on and so forth. Plus, that's where all of their political stuff is done, and they learn all of their secret handshakes and who will give blowjobs and who receives blowjobs and so on and so forth. There's a lot less of that at the NCO academies. I didn't encounter any of the political shit.
That's usually for the Sergeant Major Academy.
Is that Sergeant Major Academy only?
Yeah, that's when they trade in their dignity to become Sergeant Majors. Yeah.
ANOC was a lot of barbecuing, or BNOC was a lot of barbecuing, and ANOC was a lot of coffee and barbecuing.
I gotcha.
For MI, I don't know what infantry was like.
Yeah, I mean, if this is just me talking here, but if I was the commander in chief, I would get rid of all of the 4-star, all of the 3-star, and all of the 2-star generals.
Start all over again.
Maybe I'd get rid of all the 1-stars as well, because I'm just going to be honest. West Point and Annapolis, the officers they're putting out are mediocre at best, and I would dare say they're communist thinking.
Yeah,
I don't need that.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I've heard that West Point and the Citadel are basically just Bolshevik institutions now. So,
you bastard.
I know.
There, I said it. Bolsheviks. Bolsheviks. Now drink.
I had to slide one in there. I couldn't go all night without one of those. Come on.
I gotcha.
2 more and Beetledorf shows up.
But here's the thing. All right. This article is saying that, they failed all these audits since 2018. They've been failing audits since the late 90s, but it was not really in the media at all.
Yeah, no, that's accurate.
Mm-hmm.
That is in fact accurate.
And then here's another thing we keep doing. We keep reinventing things that already work.
Well, you get the new guys in, and the new guy has to prove that he knows better than the last guy, and then he invents exactly the same thing as the last guy did, and everybody pats him on the back.
Well, here's what's going on. I sent you the link about that aircraft earlier.
Right.
All right. They are putting together a turboprop.
Here, let's just
close air support reconnaissance aircraft.
Boop.
There it is right there.
The LAR. It even has a stupid name.
Light Attack Arm Reconnaissance. So we did a whole world war where virtually all of the aircraft were, rotary, propeller driven.
Yeah.
And I believe the best and most durable fighter that we had was the P-47 Thunderbolt.
I thought it was the P-51.
No, well, the P-51 is a high altitude interceptor, but since it was water cooled, it was susceptible to ground fire. The P-47, like, there's all kinds of stories of that aircraft coming back to its airfield minus 2 cylinders from the radial engine. What I'm trying to say here is we've already invented this fucking wheel, and we already have the plans. Why are we reinventing it with some shit like this and wasting our tax dollars when you could simply pull out that P-47 plan? You can change it around, add in, the new carbon fiber, whatever.
Kyber-farbon?
Yeah. Put all our current technology in it. And we already know it could take a fucking beating because it did so in the Pacific and over Germany.
Okay.
And just use that.
Okay.
And they're going to throw away all kinds of money to make this fucking fucked up thing, which is every aircraft that gets built is always fucked for the first 5 to 10 years that it's in service. Like the Blackhawks, when they were just coming in, when I was coming up in the Army, we called them Crash Hawks because they crashed all the fucking time.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. The aircraft should be capable of finding, tracking, and attacking targets either on its own or in support of ground forces. We have aircraft that do this already.
Yes.
The program formally began in 2009 with an RFI. No request for proposal has yet been issued. Approximately 100 aircraft were expected to be ordered, but Air Force has reduced the number of aircraft sought to 15. 15 is useless. That's a theater because you're going to have, 8 forward. Of those 8, 4 are going to be ready to go at any given time. 2 are going to be deadlined, and 2 are going to be there for parts
or maintenance. Because after so many hours, you have to do
maintenance. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you look at a forward deployed airfield image and you see 100 planes, okay, 30 of those planes are combat ready. 30 of those planes are in repair cycle. 10, 15 of those planes are there for parts or have a deadline that's put them down and they're just using them for parts. And then the remainder are being looked at.
Correct.
Because they're not sure whether or not they want to deadline them or not. They're in limbo between operational and deadline.
What this can actually carry?
LAS was born out of the need for a new close air support aircraft that suited the type of combat the U.S. was facing in a post-2003. The Warthog did all this. The close air support role was carried out by several different aircraft, including the Thunderbolt, the B-1B Lancer, the Falcon, and the Strike Eagle. When those aircraft are capable of close air support, only the A-10 was purpose-built. Excuse me, for that task. For example, these aircraft do not have the loiter time needed for these missions and require air refueling support, making their missions. That might be it, because this thing could maybe stay on station longer, but that's not like a major selling point. If it can't do the job of an A-10, who cares how long it can stay on station?
It's called drop tanks. You drop tanks on a P-47 that's been souped up to modern standards.
Yep.
You're going to not have all the research and development costs.
Yeah.
And it can fucking work.
Yeah. This thing, 1,500 pounds of fuel per hour, which is actually fairly reasonable. I don't see anything here about loadout. Renewed attention, project cancellation, requirements. Defensive rough field operations. RFI required the aircraft be capable of operating semi-prepared runways such as grass or dirt. We have a bunch that can do that. Defensive package, missile awareness, radar warning receiver, chaff and flare. Okay, everybody's got that. We have tanks that have that.
Uh-huh.
Long loiter time. Able to fly 5-hour sorties. Okay. With a 30-minute refuel time. Okay, that's nice. Range of 900 nautical miles. Data link capability. Everybody has that now. ISR capabilities. Everybody has that now. Weaponry. The Lair will need at least 4 weapon stores capable of carrying a variety of weapons, including 500 pounders. It's only going to be able to carry 2 of those at the most. 2.75-inch rockets. Everybody and their mothers got fucking 2.75s. Rail-launched missiles and illumination flares. Aircraft would be capable of aerial gunnery with an integrated or pylon-mounted gun.
So,
I don't see anything here that defeats any of the stuff that we already have.
Yeah, I know. All right. Do me a favor and do a lookup on a P-47 and let's see if we can compare the two together. Because one was built and started being built in 1943, and it was used up until the Korean War. And I believe they used it a little bit during the beginnings of the Vietnam War as well.
The first group guys I was with over in Okinawa were jumping out of boxcars. Remember those?
Yeah, I jumped out of those.
They had like 2 boxcars. I never got to go near one of those, but it looked cool. P-47 Thunderbolt. The Republic P-47 Thunderbolt.
There it is.
It's a World War II era fighter craft deployed by Republic Aviation. Successful high-altitude. It was a high-altitude fighter.
Yep.
And fighter bomber in the ground attack role. 50
it
cal,
could carry
5-inch rockets. Dude, it can carry 2,500 pounds of bombs.
Yes.
That's pretty impressive for a prop
And when it was
aircraft.
fully loaded, it weighed 8 fucking tons. It's hard
That's
to shoot
insane.
down. It's incredibly fucking tough. Why the fuck are we spending billions of dollars to reinvent something that we already have tested in war and it works?
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point. Let's look back at the LAS here real quick. Go back up to here. And I don't see anything here that looks more vulnerable than the P-47 to me.
Yes.
I mean, you've got a gunner, obviously. You got a pilot and an orderly officer. But the P-47,
you have one dude. You have one bag of meat. The other one has 2 bags of meat.
Yep.
But that had like what,
Cool.
8 50 caliber machine guns. You can easily put 20 mics on there.
Besides that, just looks cool.
Yeah, but if you're going to use propeller-driven aircraft, just go back to something that we've already, did the research and development. We've tested it in battle. It is fucking durable as fuck.
Do we even have guys who could design an engine like that
They could figure it out.
anymore?
I mean, the plans are still there.
It doesn't mean we have guys who can still build them, though.
Well, we could figure it out.
Jimmy could probably do it. We'll just send Jimmy.
Yeah. Go back to the data sheet on the P-47. Let's see what else they got.
Doop. Here's development, U.S. service. There's the gun harmonizations and all of that stuff is elaborately timed. For those of you who don't understand how these prop-driven aircraft work, the machine guns were designed to fire through the propeller blades. And that right there alone is some fucking math, man. P-41 and Allied service. I mean, this guy saw the Italian campaign, World War II, Soviet service, German service. The Taiwanese had some. It was a high-speed diver as well, apparently. High-altitude performance. First saw action with fourth fighter group. I don't see any of the configurations. Here's a ground attack roll.
Yeah, ground attack. I'm just wondering what its operational range was and all that stuff. Because it's probably comparable to the shit they're wasting billions of dollars on today.
Let's go to variants. Well, go to variants. I clicked your thing. Go to your thing.
There we go. There's the variants.
There we go.
Wingspan, airfall, empty weight, gross weight, max takeoff, power plant.
Prop performance range 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
That's 100 miles more than the little LAS.
And that's without drop tanks.
Yeah, that was its range.
Yeah.
What do they do? You're totally right. Why are they not using this? Call Pete Hegseth right now. Just fucking dial him up and go, hey.
I don't have it on speed dial.
But
But I mean,
I lost all of those
this
superpowers
This
a
is
couple years
exactly
back.
what I'm talking about. Like, we're reinventing the same shit over and over and over again. And in my opinion, it's needless. It really is.
No, I agree with you. We got the stats right there. This thing looks like this would do the job just fine.
Yeah.
And I'll bet you this is a shitload less maintenance than that new LAS that they're making, because they overcomplicate everything now.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything. While we're overcomplicating things, let's do what I talked about at the beginning of the show. Share this tab here. This little nightmare. Get rid of those. Grab this, put this over here. Is U.S. Code Title 50. And this lives in the National Register, and it is all of the elements that have been codified and made into law regarding anything to do with warfare. We have Council of National Defense, Board of Ordnance and Fortification, alien enemies, espionage, photographing, sketching, mapping, etc. Disclosure of classified information. You get the idea. This goes on for quite a while. Jimmy, roll 220 siders and pick a category.
Do the atomic weapons.
You want to do atomic weapons?
National defense contracts.
Atomic weapons and special nuclear materials, information, and rewards. Any questions you have about the United States and the laws revolving around warfare in the country are all in U.S. Code 50. This is where everything lives. Information concerning illegal introduction, manufacture, acquisition, or export of special nuclear or atomic. Oh, wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me that information concerning illegal introduction, manufacture, acquisition, or export of special nuclear material or atomic weapons or conspiracies relating thereto? Any person who furnishes original information to the United States, leading the finding or other acquisition, etc., with respect to the introduction or attempted introduction to the United States, with respect to the export or attempted export or conspiracy to export special nuclear material or atomic weapons from the United States,
uranium,
shall be rewarded by payment. This is, you can get $500,000 if you comp somebody else's nuclear weapons program and turn it over to the United States.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying though is Hillary Clinton.
I was just about to go there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she got away scot-free.
Yes.
And I don't believe she was mentioned in any pardons.
She was not. We checked right away when he started issuing pardons.
Yeah, no, is there a statute of limitations on sedition or treason?
No.
All right.
No,
I
there
want to
is
see
not.
that bitch in fucking jail.
Yeah. Yep. So, Chapter 4C of U.S. Code, if you can figure out a way to comp another country's nuclear weapons program, the United States will award you $500,000 and go. Let's see here. Let's go down a little further and go to, oh, look at this. National defense contracts. I bet this is juicy.
Mm-hmm.
Authorizations, official approvals, congressional action, restrictions. Let's try restrictions. Nothing in this chapter should be construed to constitute authorization hereunder for the use of cost plus percentage system of cost system for contracting, contract in violation of existing laws, negotiation of purposes or contract, waiver of any bids, formalization of any. This is an odd piece. Waiver of any. The amendment of a contract.
I bet you 10-1. A majority of these defense industry contracting companies are not following the letter of the law. And
I would wager that's so. That's why I clicked this here. Apparently, these contracts are negotiated under Title 10 or Title 41. Those are where the contracts are negotiated.
The Title 10 is active duty, I believe.
I believe you are correct.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I know you guys are like, this is so boring, you guys. What we're trying to show you is we are so good at warfare as a bunch of evil hairless monkeys. We actually have a whole book of laws and regulations revolving around it.
Title 10 as well.
Yep.
2 books, essentially. I want to go through this, and you'll see that I'm going through this very fast. I'm pounding through this one just because I want you to know where it is and what to look up and what is available out there. I'm not trying to teach you all of Title 50. It took me years to study a couple of chapters from this shit.
Yeah.
Military Selective Service, for example. Short title, Congressional Declaration of Policy. I am not sharing the screen. Where'd Jimmy go?
Oh,
there he is.
He's all right.
Oh, wait a minute. What's this? Bounties for induction substitutes purchase of release. U.S. Code Section 3807. No bounty may be paid to induce any person to be inducted into the armed forces. That's not quite true. A clothing allowance is authorized by law. Authorized by law is not a bounty for purposes of this section. No person liable for training and service under this act may furnish a substitute for this training or service. No person may be enlisted, inducted, etc., etc., etc. I got a bonus for bringing a guy in when I went in, which is kind of like a bounty. To be completely honest. Yeah.
I got jammed up for the AR RAP program where I think they paid you $2,200 for every person you brought in.
It's bounties.
Yeah.
It's bounties. Selective service, separation from service, offenses and penalties. This should point back to what is called UCMJ. Any member of selective service, person charged herein, provided with the duty of carrying out provisions of this chapter, etc., etc., any false, improper, or incorrect registration classification. I bet this is what the MRAP was tied to.
Yep.
This is interesting. 50 U.S. Code 3811. Yeah, it's for selective service. I'll bet this is one of the things they use to roll people up. Making or possessing a false identification or representation, forgery, destruction, or mutilation of certificates, etc. Statute of limitations. Interesting. Let's go back and find a more fun one.
Let's see. War claims.
War claims. What chapter is that?
Yeah, 51.
51, thank you. Title 1 of War Claims Act of 1948. What is this? Let's go with Foreign Claims Settlement Commission. Foreign Claims Settlement Commission of the United States may, in accordance with the provisions of the Civil Service in 51, this is, what is all of this?
I think this is where they pay you if you damage civilian property or something. Or war crimes.
Let's go back to claims of employees and contractors. This is a lot of legal mumbo jumbo, man. This is like the contract law that I was working in freaking almost 20 years ago. Oh, don't tell. What just happened there?
All right, my bad.
It was a misfire. It was a misfire.
This fucking mouse. I need to get a new mouse.
Secure that weapon, soldier.
10-4.
Make sure your safety is on at all times. Security of labor is authorized to receive, educate according to the law, and provide for the payment of any claim filed by a person specified in Section 110, 101A of the Act, an act to provide benefits for the injury, disability, death, or enemy detention of employees and contractors of the United States. Oh, this would have applied to the contractors that got rolled up in Iraq, that got kidnapped in Iraq.
Yeah.
Cancellation of employees' obligations, repayment to employees is, this is a lot of legal mumbo jumbo. We're not going to go through that one there. That doesn't strike me as a lot of fun. War Claims Fund This is hereby created on the books of the Treasury of the United States, a trust fund known to be known as the War Claims Fund. War Claims Fund shall consist of all sums covered into the Treasury pursuant to the provisions of 4336. The monies in such fund shall be available for expenditure only as provided in this chapter. Estimation and certification. What does this do?
Well,
basically, there's a lot of reading to be done here.
For instance, when I was in Iraq, basically, we were taking 4-inch mortar fire into Abu Ghraib prison on the regular. Now, typically, we would get 60 millimeter or 80 millimeter mortars, which those are pretty bad. But the 4-inch ones were exceptionally dangerous because they'd actually come through the roof and blow up in buildings, and they just fuck a lot of people up. And they kept coming. What?
Okay, coming through the mortar, fuck a lot of people up.
Yeah, so I was the NCOIC of security for the entire prison complex.
Yeah.
So we had the Q-36 radar, gave us a 6-digit grid to where the mortar fire was coming from.
Counter battery radar, yeah.
Yeah, and I rolled out there with the QRF, and you can literally see where the mortar plate was, and it was right out in front of this dude's fucking farm, right in front of his house. And this had been, I think, the second or third time I've been there for the exact same thing.
Right.
And I'm talking to this guy, and he's giving me I don't know. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, shoot that cow. They just roll the fucking M48, fucking smoke the cow. And I told the guy, if I have to come back here again, I'm going to shoot all your sheep, all your fucking cows. We're going to burn your fucking house down. And I got back in the vehicle and we left. We didn't take any more 4-inch mortar fire from that area. 3 weeks later, I get called into the colonel's office. And he's just like, hey, Sergeant Pop, do you know anything about this $500 check we just cut for a cow?
Did you just shoot a cow?
And I'm like, yeah, I was fucking pissed off. This motherfucker was covering for these dudes launching mortars into the prison. He goes, I understand. Next time, let's not execute any more cows. And that was it.
Hey, you know what, though? Fuck him, man. I got $500 for a cow to save my guys' lives.
Yeah.
How many guys did not get injured or possibly killed because you shot a cow? Fuck that guy.
I know. It is what it is.
It does the job.
I got yelled at. If you want to call that getting yelled at, it's more like a corrective talking to. Because I was doing my job pretty good.
Yeah, nobody died. A cow got shot. Okay, the guy's got to process the cow right there on the spot.
Yep.
So it's not really a terrible, terrible loss for the guy, but it makes the point.
Yeah.
So somebody in the chat says Cowschwitz.
Cowschwitz.
That's good stuff.
Where
were we? Let's go back to this fucking nightmare over here that is U.S. Code 50. And here's the part that I found just before you started into your little story. The commission is authorized to receive, adjudicate according to law, and provide for the payment of any claim filed by a prisoner of war for compensation for the violation by the enemy government by which he was held as a prisoner of war or its agents, or its obligation to furnish him the quantity or quality of food which he was entitled to as a prisoner of war under the Geneva Convention. Yes, there is a thing in the Geneva Convention on you must provide a certain amount of food and it must be of a certain quality to prisoners of war. That never happens in real life. You usually might get some sour rice and some fish soup if you're lucky. Get this, the compensation allowed to any prisoner of war under the provisions of this subsection shall be $1 per day he was held as a prisoner of war, on or which the enemy government or its agents failed to furnish him quality or quantity of food. So you get $1 a day for freaking BAH. That's nice.
This is a missed meal thing.
I see. Yes, it is. It is an indicator of just how ridiculous our government can be, because it's a missed meal law for prisoners of war.
Yep.
What the actual fuck? Compensation shall be allowed to any prisoner of war under this subsection at the rate of $1.50 per each day he was held as a prisoner of war, or which he alleges improves in a manner acceptable to the commission the violation by such enemy governments or agents, and so on and so forth. Inhumane treatment as defined. So you get $1.50 a day for being in the Whip Me Spank Me camp. That's nice to know. And this one scares me. Title of War Claims Act of 1948, and there is a category just for the Philippines. Now, anybody who served any time overseas and did any joint combined work at all know that the Navy chiefs all retired to the Philippines, where they each purchased 1 or 2 LBFMs and a large house. Little brown fornication machines, for those of you not familiar with. The commission is authorized to receive and determine, according to law, any individual who, in or after 1941, was a member of the Naval Military Forces, survivor of. What is this? Oh, this is for the people who served in the Philippines to get restitution. Why there's a specific code for this, I do not know. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff. There was a death march in the Philippines.
Yeah, and the Japanese.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I have, when people talk about World War II and how we were overly cruel to the Japanese, I'm sorry. I don't think we're
the Japanese are the ones that we should all be talking about. The Nazis were relatively passive compared to the Japanese. And it's just a fact. Fucking deal with it. Oh, Fizz, look, here's my section. Electronic surveillance, physical searches, pen registers, and trap and trace devices for foreign intelligence purposes. Access to certain business records. Oversight. Oh, I wonder how many of these I've violated. Let's see here. Electronic surveillance definitions.
There's a whole fucking thing on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. We had to go through this. We had classes on this. It's under a different title for us. It's called USAIDs. Yeah.
What are the criminal sanctions?
I will go there. A person is guilty of an offense if he intentionally engages in electronic surveillance under color of law, except as authorized by this chapter. Intentionally discloses or uses information obtained under color of law by electronic surveillance, knowing or having reason to know that the information was obtained through electronic surveillance, knowingly and willfully communicates, furnishes, transmits, or otherwise makes available to an unauthorized person, or publishes or uses in any manner prejudicial to the safety and interest of the United States. This is their standard NDA right here. This is where the NDAs are generated from. For the benefit of any foreign government to the detriment of the United States, etc. We sent somebody to.
So I could have gotten a lot of trouble for using the surveillance bag that I signed out from.
What surveillance bag?
When I found out, well, I was
what?
I understand. I'm just going to tell you the story.
Okay.
All right. So I had the gut feeling my old lady was stepping out on me, right? So I am in Chicago at 20th Group. I call home 5 o'clock. You know, my ex-wife answers the phone. I call back at 7. She answers the phone. I call back at 8 o'clock and there's a babysitter. And I knew exactly what was going on. And I was all fucking just beside myself. And our team daddy is like, you know, because I was kicking garbage cans and fucking swearing and just fucking going nuts. And he just walks in and goes, "What's going on, Sergeant Pop?" And I told him, I think my wife's cheating on me. He's like, "Oh, okay. Come with me." It's like, this is like so common. They have an SOP for this.
Yes.
Walks me into the supply room. It's like, "Hey, Sergeant Pop's wife's stepping out. Can you give him the bag?" So it's a parachute parachute bag, right? And it had like one of those. Basically, it's a parabolic dish that had a laser on it, and you could point the laser at a window, and you could hear everything in there. Yes. There was some devices where I could actually intercept cell phone calls, and then there was a little sticker you can put on the top of the vehicle and actually get it tracked from space. Yeah, because they actually had their own satellite time. So, I mean, I literally tracked it was my car. I tracked it from space after that. And
that may or may not have been part of the Keyhole program.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, I within 3 weeks, I pretty much knew everything. And I remember driving back there and turning in the equipment. And then it got real.
I can neither condone nor confirm any such activity, nor could I condone such activity had I any knowledge of it. You are not alone, my friend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't share it with anyone other than my lawyer, but because he was just like, well, okay, it doesn't mean anything. It's not like you're going to win. It's no fault.
Yeah. There's, yep. Yeah. That gets excessive. You know what? This is, you now know where Title 50 is and where it is. There is also Title 10. Let me bring 10 up. Which is General Military Laws, the Army, Navy, Marine Corps. And this covers all of the other stuff. Now, the gritty nuts and bolts of war and all the agreements and the deals and all of that shit fall under Title 50. But Title 10 is where all of what we did goes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where all of UCMJ and all of that stuff is. Army, for example, organizations, personnel, training, service, supply, and procurement. It's basically just one big operations order. Definitions,
and then there's Title 32.
Army staff, the Army itself. Yes.
Yeah, look up Title 32.
Text. 10 U.S. Code 32. Yep.
This is for National Guard.
Yeah, this is Nasty Guard. Drug interdiction and counter drug activities. They stuck it in there. That's interesting. But yeah, that's where all of the nuts and bolts are for war. If you want to see what makes everything run. Title 10, Title 32, Title 50 are the big three. With all of that, with all of these laws that they have out there, they still love to do Joe right in the fucking pooper. Yeah. And this one particularly hits home for Pop and me because we get a real case of the ass when you go near our guys.
Yeah.
Army wants to overhaul its dining halls with campus-style food and maybe even delivery service. The Army wants to model this next generation of chow halls on campus cafeterias. That's ridiculous. Well,
the Air Force has already been doing this for decades, minus the delivery stuff. Because I used to go over to McCord, and literally their chow hall was run like a Denny's.
Yes, the Air Force chow halls were excellent. I remember walking into the one at Goodfellow Air Force Base, and there were tables, and people were polite, and the food was good, and we were very confused.
Yeah.
This one is the Army wants to make it like Air Force chow halls, basically, is what they're saying.
Well, I don't have a problem with that.
Really. I grabbed the wrong tab, is my point.
No, I'm just saying, I know. Here's the one that really fucking pisses me off here.
151 million missing. Report reveals why U.S. soldiers are facing food shortages at commissaries.
All right. Now, in regards to this is only covering a limited number of bases. They haven't actually audited all of the active duty bases that have chow halls. And I bet you that 151 million is going to go way up. We're talking probably, if you go across the entire military, all of the active duty bases that have chow halls. That's Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's probably in the $500 million or maybe $750 million of missing money. Now, here's the thing that really bothers me: is you enlist in the military voluntarily.
Yep.
And you know that they're not going to pay you well. You're just putting in your dues, doing your 2, 4, 5, 6 years, whatever. You want your GI Bill? I got it.
But the one thing we're promised is 3 hots and a cot. And when
Yeah.
I went in, we got that.
Yeah. Now, they weren't always stellar meals, but they were okay.
They were always
Very few times did I go in the chow hall and just go, I can't eat this food.
Yep.
And that was usually like liver and onion days. I'm not doing that. Fuck off. And I think that's probably the
but if
only
there was
meal.
liver and onions, there was always fucking fried chicken or a burger or
hot dog.
grab a couple of grilled cheese and a salad or something.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was okay.
Yeah.
You know, my favorite meal was chili mac.
Oh God, I love chili mac.
I used to go crazy for that shit.
I would still eat chili mac.
Oh fuck yeah, I'd eat it too.
Dude, I made surrender monkey soup for dinner tonight.
And then once I became an E5,
yeah,
I was able to spend more time in the chaw. I wasn't really rushed as much, so I'd always get the omelets made to order, which was fucking phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. In the regiment they had that. That was awesome. But you got a really good breakfast and a really good dinner. Lunch, maybe you ran in there, got a burger, or they had some sandwiches you could take, and because you're always doing stuff during the day.
My first unit was Camp Essayons in Korea. We had the last chow hall that was all Army cooks. That is to say, the actual MOS with a mess sergeant, and no civilians. And Essayons also played all of the bugle calls. And at noon, they would sound the chow bugle call, and it was like Pavlov's dog. Everybody in the battalion area, they would all face toward the chow hall and just start walking toward it. It's like something out of Night of the Living Dead, but like for lunch call.
Yeah. But the thing is, go back to that one article. Right. So now they're paying you like shit. They're giving you money for BAS, basic allowance for sustainment or subsistence. Well, basically your food.
Yep.
And they're taking all that money from you because you're eating at the chow hall, and then they're feeding you garbage fucking food, or they're having food shortages.
Yeah.
Now, this is a total failure of the chain of command at all of these posts, and all of the officers involved in this need to get flushed.
Dude, if Joe's not fed, Joe's no good, period. You've got to feed the troops. You have to feed the troops. I just remember one of my favorite things, 2-chip beef on toast, otherwise known as shit on a shingle.
I hated that.
Oh, God, I love that.
Mm-hmm. I loved it during Ranger School.
You loved anything during Ranger School. If it was calories, it was going into your face.
That's right.
I knew a lot of guys who came back and gained like 40 pounds in 2 days.
Yeah, that was me. I got so fucking fat.
Yeah.
It was a shameful day. But my thing is this. This is probably not the only thing that's going on. There's probably all kinds of money getting, disappeared here, taken there, misappropriated. And we need to track all of this money down and hold these people accountable for this bullshit.
Yeah. But basically, to boil this down, what's happening is the commands are giving Joe money for food. It's called BAS, Basic Allowance for Sustenance. And that didn't happen before. We just got fed. You had a meal card. If you were E7 and above, you had to pay, and I think it was like $2.
Yeah.
Now they're making Joe pay for his food, but now there are bases taking away that BAS, and nobody knows where the fucking money is going. And Joe's just shit out of luck and has to pay out of his pocket in a time where everything is screwed anyway.
Uh-huh.
And you've got massive inflation, and it's freaking $12 just to go to Burger King. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you this right now. This is a sergeant major's job. This is why they exist. All right. The sergeant major is especially a command sergeant major is like the senior enlisted in a battalion or senior enlisted in a division or corps, and that this is the sergeant major's job.
Yeah.
Is to make sure shit is rolling along fine, nothing is coming off the rails. And I mean, I'll tell you right now, if I was on one of these posts, and I was like a first sergeant or sergeant first class,
Yeah.
and I hear some rumblings from my guys that they're getting fucked at the chow hall, I myself would go and experience the butt fucking in the chow hall. I would take pictures or take samples, and then I'd do the duck walk up to see the man, put it on the sergeant major's fucking desk, and go, "What the fuck is this, Sergeant Major? Why are we? What is going on? This is bullshit."
I have a story that skips a step.
Yeah.
When we were at Essayance, the mess sergeant apparently found some old field rats. Remember T-rats?
Yep.
Found some old field rats that he needed to get rid of. So one night for dinner, we walk in and the mess sergeant has T-rat ribs, which are dry, barely edible, mostly leathery things in a sauce. An unspecified sauce. He also had mac and cheese out and greens, which was nice of him. Our mess sergeant at the time was a basketball American, so he at least had the mac and cheese and the greens out, but he had T-rat ribs out there. The sergeant major walks in and sees this and bellows at the top of his lungs, "Oh, hell no!" and made the fucking chow hall recook the entire dinner. Everybody, and most of us had already gotten in there and gotten food. We're like, fuck it, we don't care, we're just eating. The sergeant major made them recook the whole fucking meal, and we all got to eat again.
Good.
Which for Joe is like bonus prizes galore.
2 dinners?
Yeah. Oh, 2 dinner! Exactly. But yeah, the sergeant major was mad as fuck. He had a case of the ass for T-rats too. So
yeah, but this is the sergeant. This is like a basic job for a sergeant major.
Yeah.
And now, because this is in the media, all of those officers are going to get fucking smoked. And literally the sergeant major could have prevented all of this if they just would have jumped in their shit and said, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Yeah, absolutely true. This kind of stuff is unfucking forgivable. When we talk about, we came out here to talk about the nuts and bolts of how the Army works. This is the bare bones, bottom metal meeting the road shit right here. If you can't feed Joe, you don't have an army. There's an old Army saying, an army runs on its stomach. And guess what? That comes from the fucking Romans.
Yep.
An army runs on its stomach.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing bad food will do more damage to your military morale in your unit than pretty much anything else.
Yes. Absolutely correct. And you want to see morale go the hell up, go out on a really shitty exercise, and when the troops come back, have it can be fucking frozen patties and franks from the damn commissary, but have a barbecue going when the troops come back, and all of a sudden morale is at like 400%.
Yeah, they love that shit.
Yep. You've been out in the woods for 3 weeks. It's shitty. You're covered in mud. You come back and you're assed out. All you want to do is fucking kill somebody. Usually your platoon sergeant. And they've got the barbecue going. All of a sudden, everything is suddenly better. You go stuff a burger in your face, catch a shower, come back out, get a couple of cold ones and some burgers and a couple of dogs, and everything's fine. Makes it all go away.
Well, it makes it a lot more tolerable.
Yes, makes it a hell of a lot tolerable. But that's what our commands used to do to keep morale up. Or we'd have mandatory fun days, and it would just be barbecue and beer and playing horseshoes.
Mm-hmm.
Shit like that. And you had to be there, but it didn't really suck because you were just kind of fucking around, but as a unit.
All I can say is this. This past 4 years, has literally gutted our military.
Yes.
All
We're
branches. And I would say basically the poor leadership we've had in the military. Now, I'm just talking basically from the Army perspective. But I have had to deal with really shitty leadership for my entire military career. That's why I hate officers.
That's fine. I understand. Like I said, I had 3 good ones in the entire 11 years that I was in.
But here's the thing. All right. If you look at how they pick these officers, they get, letters of recommendation like, oh, he was the captain at his football team and he's going to go to West Point. Or he was an Eagle Scout and now he's going to West Point to become an officer.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't give a fuck if you're a captain of, whatever fucking team or an Eagle Scout or whatever accolades you have in the civilian world. It's the fucking civilian world. It's not the same as the military. And we're going to send these fucktards to West Point and other military academies, pay their tuition, pour an insane amount of taxpayer dollars into these people with no proven track record of leadership at all. In today's day and age, where death can come in a fraction of a second, I want the guy leading to actually know how to lead, be a natural leader. Because I don't care. You can go to all of these colleges, you can take all these classes. If you are not a born leader, you never will be. You can be a manager, but you're not going to be that leader.
One of the big mistakes the Army made at the end of the Vietnam War was to remove the specialist ranks. Especially in some of the more technical MOSs, because a lot of guys I know were forced into leadership positions who were top-notch fucking operators for what we did for signals intelligence. Top-notch guys. And now they've got to be a platoon sergeant, or now they got to go be a freaking platoon sergeant at a schoolhouse or some shit like that. And they don't want to. They don't want to be leaders. So that split there for the specialist ranks and the NCO ranks, they should have left that.
Mm-hmm. Well,
in the infantry, it's not as important.
Well, what I'm trying to say, though, is why don't we pick an E5 who's been in the Army 2 to 4 years?
Yeah.
With a good track record, who's a natural leader, because you'll know if he's a leader or not. That's pretty much your first field problem. You'll figure it out.
Yep.
Take those guys, send those guys to West Point, and I would say they're more worthy of having all of the resources and money dumped into them than some shitbag off the street. That's why we have so many 4-star generals up there with their chests full of ribbons that they didn't fucking earn, completely paralyzed with ignorance and pride. Nobody wants to work with somebody who's prideful or super arrogant.
Yes.
I talk about this in my book.
We had a captain who did exactly that. He would take enlisted guys with promise, and he would basically ride their ass until they applied for organized chicken shit.
Yep.
And they became two of my buddies, Ross and Jacobson, both became officers because this captain rode their ass. That captain is now Senator Doug Mastriano of Pennsylvania. And Doug Mastriano is one of the very few people I know who has more integrity in his little finger than most people have in their whole body. The guy, he was just a great leader and a fucking awesome officer.
And what rank did he get to?
Colonel.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He made it, but that's because he was teaching at Fort Dix.
Ah.
He's the foremost authority, I think, on Alvin York. Yeah.
All right. Hey, Jimmy, it is 9:40. Let's start hitting those super chats.
All righty. Now I can click the button.
Push the button.
Tell what you gotta say. Whatever it is, it's probably lame. If you want some advice and need some help, oh, how about you go F yourself? Go yourself, oh, F yourself.
You didn't see that one yet?
I did not see that one yet.
Oh, yeah, that's the newest one from Billy Von Baum.
Oh, God
It's
bless
funny
his
as shit.
black heart.
Yep.
Oh.
All right, we'll start over here on the YouTube side. We got 486 viewers and 294 likes. A little bit on the light side there, but we'll give you guys a couple minutes there. Let's see. The first one here, first couple here from L Snows here, $5. The Super Tucano is great for air forces like that of Burkina Faso, Sierra Leone, and other small countries. Why can't we keep using the A-10?
Fuck those places.
Yeah, we can. I like the A-10.
Yeah, A-10 go burr.
I'm just saying, if they're going to spend billions of dollars on a prop aircraft, just go pull the P-47 out of the mothballs, get the plans, build them your fucking self. If it's already proven technology. You can even make it better with new technology. Fuck it.
Yep.
Give me a fucking A-10 and a Spectre in the battle space, and I'm good to go.
There you go. Elsno, second one here says the same engine that was used in the P-47 was used in the F4U Corsair and the F6F Hellcat as well.
Yep.
Did not know that. Let's see. Mighty Mouse Malibu coming in with $10 says Papa's thinking of the Douglas AD Sky Raider.
That was used actually after World War II. That was another prop-driven close air support aircraft. I think it's basically a modified, souped-up version of the P-47.
There you go. And last one here on YouTube, FMF Veteran for $10 says food for an episode. Why is there gold fringe flag inside the American courtrooms, such as traffic court? That is some food.
I'd have to consult flags and tabards. We have an actual manual for exactly that.
Winning.
All right.
All right. And we're going to jump over to the Rumble side. And apparently Rumble is keeping up with me here tonight, so we shouldn't miss any. But the first one here comes from MGTOW Mando, who says, Dwarf, was your Schwartz as big as his, allegedly?
No.
I mean, it's at least half a homo suspicion point talking about another man's Schwartz. And Mando again, he says, I got the opportunity to see as a general on Fort Campbell. It was quite satisfying to see that two-faced snake writhing on the ground in a 3-pellet chamber.
Nice.
Winning. All right, let's see. We got Overseas 27 Rangers here with $20. Says, Pop, your opinion on the president threatening the Middle Eastern, those that wear towels on their head.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't give a shit. I mean, it's not a religion of peace, and it's just name me one Muslim nation that has been at peace for more than 20 years. I'll wait.
That's fair.
Yeah. No answer.
I just simply don't care about any of that stuff anymore. No more American blood and treasure for foreign adventurism.
Yep.
If they don't come here and attack us, I don't want anything to do with it.
Yep.
Sort your own shit out. I don't care.
There we go. See, we got Kira Ninja 00 here with $10. Says, hey, Pop and Dwarf Vader, if Trump or Elon asks you for your advice for cleaning up the Pentagon, what would you say to them?
A whole lot of stuff that I'm not going to say on this microphone.
Well, you're going to have to fire a lot of people. You're going to have to go call back some hard chargers and give them basically authority to go through and get rid of the ash and trash. You know, you're going to have to take it back to formula.
Yep. But as much as I would love to see that happening, I do recall a certain day in September on the 10th, I believe it was, in 2001, when a secretary said, "Oh yeah, we're missing $2.3 trillion."
Yep.
And then the events of the next day happened.
You talked about the airplanes that hit towers that fell down into their own footprint, even though that's never happened ever before.
I've explained this half a dozen times. We'll do another episode on it, and I'll explain it really slowly for the dumb kids in the back of the classroom.
Okay.
There you go.
Next one.
And Kiro had a request here. He wants some singing captain.
We did have a request for singing pop. You guys are jackasses. Always want to watch the same shit over and over again. Pick new videos.
Look at me, I wanna be the captain of the sea.
About time.
The poop that came from me, I'd rather steer us to debauchery.
Careful what you ask for, video guy. Careful what you ask for.
Never gets old.
Fair enough.
Next one here, International House of Whoop Ass here says an effective torture makes people go through a DTS that always gets kicked back, and they don't give you a reason why. Then tell them you can't go home until it's done.
Yeah, the travel card DTS genie in a bottle, glorious games. Yeah, I myself, when I kick it back to you, I tell you, I'll call you on the phone like, "Hey, motherfucker, this is what's going on." Because I don't want to play the game. I just want it to go up and everyone get paid and it's all good to go.
There you go. Yeah, Alley Card 1776 coming in with a question. Is it true that New York has Ebola?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that.
I did see a couple, at least one article scrolling through Twitter that says 2 people that came from like the Congo, Nigeria, one of those Central African nations. They came back and we're showing signs. So
Where they eat what's called bush meat. Yeah, you know what? I don't care. I don't care if the entire city of New York contracted Ebola and all died at the same time right now. I wouldn't give a fuck.
All right then.
I don't care.
Bush meat. Isn't that like a 70s porn thing or something?
Nah, that's my ex-wife now.
Allegedly.
Sorry, I had to do it.
You're going to jail.
Let's see here. Yep. And Mando's coming back. Well, Bolshevik. Play it.
Bolsheviks.
No, don't say it.
Bolsheviks.
No, please stop.
Bolsheviks. It's showtime. Bolsheviks, baby. Everyone drink.
Beetle dwarf. That's horrible.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
It's fantastic.
It's hilarious.
It is funny as hell.
Let's see. Next one here we got from Brissinger for $1. Says suicide rates only go up when government overreach, encouraging women to go with artificial insemination, forcing everyone to use electric vehicles, and establishing an electronic tracked form of ID.
Well, suicides are already pretty high, and we don't have most of that yet.
Yeah.
So it'll probably only get worse.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of self-deletion, you guys remember hearing about those pods in that one country that they were going to use?
Yep.
Oh, they ended up having to strangle people?
Yeah.
Look, if you're going to go to that level of self-deletion, this is where my sympathy runs out, and any additional sympathy you want will be found in the dictionary between shit and syphilis.
Mm-hmm.
If you climb into a suicide pod, you pretty much get whatever you get, in my opinion. You have reached the point where I can't help you anymore, and if they have to strangle you to death, so fucking be it. Sorry.
No argument here. Let's see. Next one here comes from Mando again. It says, give a competent drafter the original blueprints. They can then CAD it up and give it to a data give it the data to a competent CNC machinist who can make it than a competent mechanic that can build it. Sorry, Jimmy.
Jimmy, you'd probably do it.
Bastard.
Those were standard machines back then. You could probably work on it without any problem at all.
Oh yeah, probably. Let's see. We got 1371 MOS here. Says A1 Sky Raider OV10 Bronco as.
I believe they used the Sky Raider during the early years of Vietnam.
Here we go. We have a correction here. And the A37 Dragonfly aircraft all work well and had multi-platforms.
Okay.
There you go. And Mando coming back. Jimmy, isn't there found footage of dwarfing certain congresswoman?
No.
Uh-oh.
No, there isn't.
Are you sure about that?
I just
Here we go.
Someone sent me a message. I'm not turned on by this. I'm married. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Oh, yeah, come to Papa.
I'm coming for you, Jimmy Von Bomb. I'm fucking coming for you.
That's what she said.
Fuck you, Jimmy. That's funny. Oh my God, that's brutal.
I laughed my ass off when I saw that from Billy.
Oh wow,
that was funny. Let's see. Next
gloves
one
have come off.
Tantalum 180 here says, "I'm not bored, yo. Carries Harpop." There you go. Yep, man. Ellie card. He's saying it. So drink. Bolshevik.
Oh my God.
And Barrett McMusing here with 5 says, "I want to steal an old woman's final joy in the winter of her life. Dwarf, you down?"
I'm down. It's okay. We go to trivia tomorrow night, and there's this old lady there who this is not a joke, was bragging about giving a guy a blowjob behind the bar for his birthday. And I shit you not, she's like 81 years old. It's like,
God damn.
We were like, oh, come on, man.
I don't need to hear this.
Yeah.
So she took someone behind the bar, the dumb cumster, and at the bar
Yes.
and gave him a adventure.
Yes.
Yeah, I gave him a little denture adventure. Yeah. But that has made her our arch nemesis. And now whenever she loses on trivia night, we have a quiet little celebration ourselves.
Nice. Yeah, next one. Ali Card coming back says, "Should Doge audit Fort Knox?"
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything should get audited.
All of it. Yep. I agree 100%.
Yep. See, Mando coming back says, "Here's an idea. Make the food actually good and properly portioned. How's that for a good idea, Big Army?"
Be crazy. It was once upon a time.
I mean, when I used to go to Chow, it was okay. I mean, it's not grade A, 5-star, but it was edible. It was all right.
It was truck stop greasy diner quality. Yeah. It was edible, and they gave you good portions.
There you go.
Carry on.
Ali Card coming back. Billy Von Baum, here's an idea. Have Battle Dwarf and Lord of the Rings scene against an orc.
What I do to you guys? Why am I the subject of all of the new videos?
Everyone gets fucked with, man.
That's right.
Everybody gets fucked with.
And Mando coming back says, something that needs to be looking into is how much food is wasted by field kitchens. Spoiler alert, it's horrible.
Oh, God. MKT's dumped out shitloads of food.
Yeah.
Absolutely shitloads. They'd way overload the Marmites and stuff.
Good times. See, Tantalum coming back says, a good army is fed a fair amount of animal flesh and a moderate amount of booze.
That's a true story.
Well, yeah.
That is a true story.
Yeah, I've had platoon sergeants roll out into the, come into the field with a truck full of beer and just start handing it out.
I was about to say exactly that. We had a platoon sergeant show up and just give everybody one can of beer, like in the middle of an exercise. It's like beer break.
Let's see. Next one. Rule Man Life here with $5 says, I bet these shortages of normal military funds are a result of black op programs where weird things are being developed like bioweapons and alien tech reverse engineering. Secret sites nonsense.
Just discuss that. That would be the military contractors, like I said, as opposed to actual Jason Bourne bullshit.
Well, and another thing
actually exists.
You also have to take into account if they're not punishing these people for failing audits and not recording the money properly, then they could do anything with that money and we'll probably never know.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. There was one incident in Korea where one of the colonels from 34th Support Group, who was supposed to be seeing to infrastructure, roads, overpasses, that sort of thing, was taking kickbacks from Korean contractors and just handing money out like fucking candy. When they raided his house, he had like $200,000 in cash in his couch.
Wow.
So there's a lot of shit like that too. This was 1999, I want to say, thereabouts.
There you go. And Alucard's coming back. He's got another idea for Billy Von Baum. Dancing dwarf.
There we go.
Nobody wants to see that, man. Just nobody wants to see it. That's not a visual you want.
Is this a new one?
I don't know. I hope not.
It could be. It could be. But everyone does love seeing this because it never gets old.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square. Stop!
I was discussing that with Pop just this morning, how our generation, we're starting to age out. Generation X is pushing into the 60s. More and more on social media, I'm seeing women in our age bracket going, I don't have anyone. I'm going to die alone.
What are you going to do?
Too late now. I hate to be cruel, but there you go. You did this.
Let me play you a song on the world's smallest violin.
I wanted to be strong and independent.
Yep.
Okay.
I've had it.
Bye-bye.
Right. Moving on here. We got Tomahawk for $5 says, Old Man Winter is giving half the country an ice cube enema. Got mugged by a flock of penguins on my way out to my car. And he needs Nancy to keep him warm. Okay,
All right.
enough of that abomination on my screen. So I'm all out of eye bleach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Next one here, we got Cliff 3188 says idea for prerequisite for officer selection. Give them a full canteen, a map, and a compass. They have to complete land nav course solo. Those that pass can move on to officer selection.
They can't do it. I can tell you right now, most of them cannot do it.
There you go. And we got our first, you fucking mouse, piece of shit. Got a first We're Not Worthy from Deus Ex Machina Prime giving us a thumbs up. Hopefully not a thumb up the ass. That's just gay, dude.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If there's a glove and a doctor with a sad face involved, it's just an airborne physical. Just relax, get it over with. You'll be fine.
Moon River.
Yeah, and I do believe we have 2 more lives saved and a gratitude letter we need to cover on Thursday.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Winning.
Fucking awesome.
We got Overseas 27 Rangers coming back. $10 says I definitely want to see Putin get put to the slaughter for being a freaking terror. They killed a couple of blue-eyed women.
Well, I want to see Zelensky from the Ukraine get fucking nuked for allowing Gonzo Lair to die in one of his prisons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Since he was actually a guest on the show, fuck them.
Yep. I want to see all U.S. assets, money, and materials pulled out of that entire thing. Not our pig, not our fucking farm.
Correct.
Yep. And Ranger's coming back says, my favorite color is blue, any type of blue, but I do like a blue-eyed woman wearing blue panties for me.
Mm.
To each their own, good sir. To each their own. Let's see. Next one is from Alicard. Says, question: does the military have an interest in cloning?
Everyone has an interest in cloning.
Fuck if I know. What are you, Django Fett?
No, I'm serious. Like they're all talking about doing that. I know they're like, it's unethical. And there's some 30-pound brain dudes like, I don't care if it's unethical. We should do it. What could go wrong?
I don't know. I never encountered anything remotely like that while I was in.
Nah.
Or since then.
Not at my level.
Yeah. No thanks.
That's the 30-pound brain level. I wasn't to the 30. I was in the 18 to 20-pound bracket. Is as far as I ever got.
But if they really were into the cloning, they might clone something else, like maybe the body of the Kandahar giant that they took off in this CH-47.
Right, yeah. Kandahar giant.
But that's fine.
Uh-huh. It looks like last one here over on the Rumble side for now is from Alicard, and he's got another idea. Suspicious cougar alert for Billy Von Baum. Might have to send that one to a Red Pill Rhino for him to use. All right, let me jump back over here. Just double check on the YouTube side. Looks like nothing new over there. Jump over to the MGTOW side. Let it load up here for a second. Bastard. All right, first one here from Moisture Patrol is Canadian government. We're going to tax the hell out of alcohol because it's bad. Also, the Canadian government. This deadly synthetic opiate over here is totally okay, though.
Yeah. And like President Trump really hit the nail on the head when he said, why are we subsidizing you $200 billion a year? You're not even a state. Like, go fuck yourself. I want to see Canada implode because I'm really sick and tired of those northern commies. I really am. Now, I know there's a lot of people who are Canadian who watch the show, and I'm not really aiming this at you. I'm aiming it at your government. I would love to invade you guys for the beer.
Canada's a lot like Michigan. All of the cities are fucking left-wing weirdos and street shitters. And then the people who live out in the woods are pretty good people.
Yes, I don't want to kill any Canadians. I just want to take beer.
It's fine.
Seems like a fair trade to me. And let's see, next one we got from Crazy Uncle. It says, won't be online for the entire show, so here's my beer money. I dealt with two generals when I was an E2. In one instance, in the field, we needed to pass the call to take cover down the line. Had to yell over the 240. I ended up screaming into a one-star's face right after I put my head down thinking, I'm so fucked. He chuckled and patted my helmet. Then I thought, this guy looks like a 20-year-old. How the fuck did he get a star?
Yeah.
We had a high-ranking guy we called Boy Wonder. He was in his late 30s and looked like he was like 15.
Boy Wonder.
Boy Wonder. Let's see. Next one. MGTOW Ronan says, hey, Pop, Jimmy Battledorf. The movie with Denzel Washington with the demon jumping from body to body was the film Fallen.
Fallen,
Yes,
that is correct. Yes. Yeah, and that is actually CW5s. Chief Warrant Officer 5s are capable of that. That's one of their magic powers.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep. Philip Oliver Holes coming in says, how was the Cleveland Christmas whiskey? Hope it was good, my friend.
It's already half gone.
Ooh, shocker.
It must be pretty good then.
Yeah, I sampled the black mead the other day as well.
Off.
Going to be
Fuck you.
You boil the honey before you make the mead, which is very dangerous, by the way. Liquid sugar is basically napalm.
Yep.
And then it hardens in the wound when it cools off. So there's that. But black mead is really, really nice stuff. Very tasty.
Nice. Looks like we just got a couple over from the Odyssey side, and say it with me, everybody. Big Mike's Raging Wrecking Purple-Headed Prostate Puncher.
Yikes.
Says, first one here says, how many stars did George S. Patton had? I know he was independently wealthy and didn't need the army pay. What was he paid though?
Oh, he was what, a 3-star? He didn't make 4-star. Yeah, I don't think Pat made 4-star.
Do.
Are we looking it up?
Pat made 4 stars.
Oh, he did make 4 stars?
Pat was commander of 7th Army.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
So he pretty much made the same.
Yes.
If you account for inflation.
And then he wrote a bunch of letters and mysteriously died.
Yep.
Shocker. And Big Mike coming back in says, Pop, you need to put a cover plate on the wall socket behind you. It's almost as bad as Clary's twisted rubber band on his big black mic.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fuck yeah. I don't care.
It's a fire hazard, man.
It'll be all right.
It'll be fine. All right. Looks like no more chats over on the YouTube side. I did see a couple more coming in on the Rumble side here. And shockingly, Rumble has been working tonight. I guess I got here early enough.
Yeah.
But, let's see. Next one, Alucard. He's got a request. And of course, you probably know what's coming.
Oh, God.
Get your eye bleach ready, boys and girls.
Alucard, what's wrong with you, man?
I fucking hate that one.
Did you not get enough hugs when you were a child? What's going on, man?
And holy smoke and Joe Frazier. These aren't super chats, but Pixels G-Tau has been gifted memberships. What was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Holy smoke and Joe Frazier, 15.
What does that mean?
He's buying people memberships.
Oh, nice. Nice. Thanks, man. That's really cool.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you. Let's see. Alucard, he said, I put Singing Pop just to piss off Tomahawk. I think, let's see here. We'll jump back down to Kira Ninja 00 says, since cartels are now labeled a T organization, do you think the D-boys would like a green lit and sent into Mexico?
They're already training for it. 7th group is already down there training, the Mexicans for this mission. They've run intel planes up and down the Gulf Coast. So they picked up all the cell phone transmissions.
Yeah.
And they're building target folders as we speak, if they're not already complete.
Huachuca's right on the border there too, dude. The big ears down there. They'll have the balloons up.
Yeah, and I have contacts at several active duty posts that I don't ever ask them to violate OBSEC, but if something is really going to get stupid, I'll usually get like a link to a news article, and then I just have to figure it out for myself.
7th group has already been advertised as being down there, which means D-boys are preparing if they're not already on the ground.
They're already there.
Well, the D-boys have an element that was called Combat Support Team back in my day.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what they're called now.
They're probably down there doing left seat, right seat, and advanced recon.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. All right, just scrolling through the other chats here. We got 13 people watching us over on the Twitch, the itchy twitchy. And over on Twattersphere, we've got 80 views over there.
All right.
All right.
All right, let me jump into the emails here, see if we got any cash apps here. Looks like got a couple there. The first one from Suze McCarley, $30, her normal pay.
Thank you, Suze.
Thank you.
Drink, Bolshevik.
I've already finished off my stuff, and
I'll drink for you then, Pop.
Okay.
Gosh, Jimmy, what selfless service on your part.
I know. I do it because I care.
I hear you. Alucard popped in on Rumble, by the way, again and said, Battle Dwarf, I was abandoned by my mother before I was 10. You lucky bastard. My mother held on to me until I was 15.
Nice. And let's see, others Cash App here from HKC, $5 says, love your books.
Oh, we have interviews coming out. That'll be soon. Next week, week to 10 days. Look for book interviews.
Morning.
Yeah.
All righty. Let me just jump back through the chats, make sure we're not going to miss anything. YouTube is all caught up. Let's see. Alucard. So I hate everyone equally, and you wouldn't blame me for it. Blame me for it now, Ghost Nation, Redonkulas Regiment, and WB. I consider my tribe.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
That's what we're here for, man. Let's see here. Scroll down. Big Tau is all good. And Odyssey is all caught up. So I believe, Pop, it's time for safety briefing.
All right, everybody. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and swim. It's not going to work out for you. If you absolutely must fornicate, wear a condom, take it with you, or flush it down the toilet because women are sneaky bitches. All right, rack up, pack up, and stack up because there's always safety in numbers, and maintain your situational awareness because if you're going to be attacked, something in your environment will have changed, and it's up to you to see it. And last but not least, I'm sick and tired of throwing you guys into the dirt because you're taking a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Play the long game, stay in the fight, and if all else fails, live out a motherfucking spite. Boom, beer me.
There you go. Dorfabitus. Final words from you, good sir.
We are NSTR.
Copy that. And of course, everybody knows my final words. Head on over. Redonkulas.com. Actually, let me hit the refresh because I believe the new stuff is up.
Oh,
stay in the fight, live out of spite.
Nice. Kind of like that one.
There you go. Yep. Blake did the final touches on those.
Might need the rocks glass. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. For sure. For sure. Get your hats, mouse pads, all of the good stuff. Oh, there's the.
See now that chook right there, that black chook, that is like standard Detroit headgear. So,
yeah.
There you go. I do like that red shirt, that red and green. That's nice. Oh, we even got black and all of the good stuff. So head on over to the merch shop, get yourself some swag because you never know what's going to happen. And well, it's always good to know who your teammates are. We see you wearing a Redonkulas shirt, winning. Let me buy you a beer.
Yeah.
All right, gents, that's us for the night. See you next week.
Take it easy.